Welcome back, everybody. We are going into hour number 2 of RollPlay Live. Court of Swords. Salix, you are approaching this dwarf armed with an 8 on your persuade roll, hands up like, "Hey, buddy,
it's
okay."
cool. We're friends.
But from his perspective, this black-eyed, golden-horned demon creature is approaching with her hands out, and you hear, because you speak primordial, you hear him shout the primordial word for sorceress in fear, and like throw his arms up to keep you from touching him, and like staggers back in the stone, and he screams like, "Sorceress!" These other two turn to you with a look like, "Oh shit!" Like, "Uh-oh, this is worse than we thought." And so you have elevated their level of panic. Though you may have set them up for an intimidation later, you're not going to persuade them that you're here to do good. But you've seen this look before, right? This response to your attempts to communicate. You are familiar with this. You have had people respond this way to you your whole life. This is not new. This is not surprising to you. So how do you react? Is this like, and like pick up your bow?
Yeah, it's more of a frustration because at this point, you don't know. We are unfamiliar with these creatures, and I am unfamiliar. So you never know if they come from the demon side or do they come from the good side. We're like, I may not be afraid of them. They're rock creatures, right? They're these giant. Yeah. They may not be. So realizing that now I can't understand what they're saying, but knowing that whatever he said has alerted the other two, I kind of like, here we go again.
Well, yeah, whatever else is going on, they know, they see your true nature. They know that you are an evil creature and that their lives and potentially their very souls are in danger just by being around you.
Right. So I would just pick my bow back up and still not. I don't go
like
right back. No. Like I don't go right back to his,
to his face. Help. Shut up.
Right. But it's more of just like I'm just going to stand there in frustration and kind of wait for someone else to figure out. Would I know that Thorn speaks there? I wouldn't. Okay.
I haven't shared that at all.
Okay.
Yam, you are in the midst of a berserker rage, so outside the red wall of your fury, none of this is really happening. There's just 2 things that you want to kill. So what are you going to do?
It's my turn? All right. Is it my turn?
It is indeed.
Yeah. The blood rage.
Oh, I see raged. Number 8. So
yeah, the rage is 8. Oh, let me roll to see if these guys if the sun is out. Yeah, so they still have disadvantage.
All right, well, the one that I attacked last, has it turned back to look at her again?
Yeah, the 2 of them have both turned their attention. Like, they're still like a bear. They can't just ignore you, but they're kind of like looking, and they're not sure where to pay attention
I'll continue to attack the one that's closest to her then.
Okay.
First attack. Was it 5 or 6?
Your to hit bonus?
Yeah.
It's a 4.
That's not going to hit either way.
5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you miss
12,
with the bite.
Still
and you miss with the
Yeah.
claw. Okay. So it's like it's like you're trying to like open a tin can, right? Like you're just like shredding at their armor and their this fine dwarven craftsmanship. You're just not able to get through it.
Right. Yep. That's it. That's all right. Try to move.
Cool. All right. So they will go. Now they have disadvantage, so I'm gonna roll 2 dice. And I think both of them, they're going to try to deal with this bear problem. So the first one takes a swing with his pick at +4. There we go. That's a hit.
Yeah.
And 18. So they do, in this form, they do 2d8 plus 2 damage.
Did you say yay that they hit you?
Yeah.
He likes the
they're
pain.
doing stuff.
Yeah. All right. So 9, 10, 11 damage.
So is it rounded down half damage?
Yes. Yeah.
6.
Okay, and the second one, same thing, disadvantage, +4. I think, yep. And I got a 15.
Yeah.
Okay. So this hit is 7, 8, 9 damage.
9 damage. Actually, what is my bear HP? Sorry.
Your total HP as a bear begins at, let me see here, 34.
34, okay. And I got hit for 6, and then that one was... Sorry, how much was the last one?
I don't remember.
That was 9. It was 9, so half of 9.
Right.
Okay,
okay.
Sweet.
So, yeah, the 2 of them are focused on this clear and present danger, but they're aware that there's a sorceress in their midst, and they're just, like, hammering at you with these picks, and your bear blood is getting splashed around, but you're still doing fine. You don't even feel it because of the rage. It's like bee stings. This one, I can't decide if he's going to attack you or if he's going to, like, run, so I'm going to make a roll.
Which one?
The one that's
The small one.
The
Oh,
one
okay.
that thinks that Salix is trying to like ensorcellate, right? He's like he sees her, put her hands out. To
I
him.
like too that you said like, "Oh, we're okay, we're peaceful." After I just fucked him up with like an arrow.
I'm gonna give.
Well,
like for
but he
decent
got
damage, too.
I'll
scared.
give him advantage.
He didn't get
Okay,
angry.
yeah, so he's gonna fight you.
He's a scared.
He
has a
he
little-
he sticks his courage to. Should he attack or should no? He's gonna go into giant mode. So this turn, you see him steal himself because he steals his fear, and then becomes enormous and looms over you. But that's his action, so he's not gonna get to attack. Cool. Okay, Thorn.
He is gonna get hit though. You know what I'm saying?
I
By these.
I certainly do.
Doing this, All right. Yeah, just firing off another arrow. I'm still getting that sneak attack. Ooh.
Get this out of the way.
Hey. Okay, not so much.
No, that was a 5 you rolled there.
And I'm gonna hide.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna be like, ah! Oh, yeah, all right.
All right.
Just kind of cover my hand. I'm gonna face my
Okay.
paw.
Make
I'm gonna
your
face.
stealth
Yeah.
check, and we'll see.
What's my stealth bonus?
It should be.
It's 10.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So
It's a
sneaky.
lot of stealth.
Yeah,
21.
we're stealthy.
Okay.
21.
All right, cool. So passively, none of them will notice you. They just you've disappeared.
They just hear.
Okay. All right. So meanwhile, the two-headed giant tangling with our old dwarf is going to make 2 attacks. He does not have the light sensitivity problem that his friends do. So these attacks are the same and deal the same damage. So I'm going to roll them both at once. These are both +7. I got 2 19s, so I think
Jesus.
you get hit twice.
Good.
All right.
Let me know if you ever want this.
Okay, thank you.
So all of this +10.
I just washed my hands.
I guess we'll do them twice because you might gain something from the dividing.
Sure.
All right, so 19.
So what does that have?
9.
9.5.
Okay, 9. Gotcha.
Yeah. How you looking over there, buddy?
And then the
29.
second swing, 7,
So 3,
no, 12, so 6.
6. Okay.
These are yours. Sorry, thank you. Okay, so why this round? Like, what is it is it just like luck that he has to hit you with both attacks this time? Or are you getting worn down? Or
I'm probably really 2 things. 1, I don't understand why a dwarf just turned into a bear.
Right, okay.
And 2, I don't understand why someone's trying to parlay with something that's obviously wanting to kill them.
I mean, you see
From
now,
my understanding, it's just why would you parlay
and this
with
is
this?
and this is a weird situation too, because you see now that not only does Yam take the shape of animals, which is forbidden, but travels with a demon and with whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah.
And so
I'm
like
a little confused.
Yeah, your rage is you're getting a little turned around.
But I'm
Yeah.
still raged, so I just keep
So
fighting.
this time, yeah, I think we just see him take a swing with the axe, and he cuts you across the chest, and then there's a backhand with the Morningstar, and you stagger, and yeah, you're bleeding. Same thing with the rage, though. You don't really feel it, but your bones are getting weary of this fight.
Sure. Sure.
All right, but it's your turn, Vama. So
With +1 axes, any +1 weapon gets +1 to damage and to hit.
to hit and damage.
Okay, so I should have been doing 1 extra damage this entire time, but that's fine. We can start factoring it out. It's my fault.
Okay. That's definitely a
17,
hit.
yeah.
Yep.
It's a 25, so it's a D12.
9.
9 +1, 10, +4, 14, +2, 16.
Okay. All right.
Second attack, again, 24.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy's not that hard to hit.
3 +1, 4, +4, 8, +2, 10.
10 damage.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a lot of pluses.
There is. Yeah.
I'm just going to do the math.
I'll
out
let you do
loud.
the math, and then you tell me the damage. Okay. All right. So the two of you just like lay into each other with no attempt to defend at all. Just like getting both
Yeah.
of you getting hit, blood flying, bone cracking, and this is like clear to anyone who looks. This is a battle to the death, right? Like the two of them are just like locked in Mortal Kombat. The heads shouting, and this dwarf plays for keeps. So. Salix, your attempt to parlay did not function. What would you like to do? You're pinned between these two dwarves.
I don't
Scare him
want.
away. Scare him away.
Yeah. So there's 2 things that I wouldn't know that they shouted sorceress, right? But like it's clear. It's clear that like
you know
they're
what it looks
they're
like
afraid.
when someone
yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
scary demon, sign of the cross situation.
Yeah. So part of me really wants to do something that's like completely effective, but just scare the shit out of them, which is if I try to cast like the shadow on the whole group, that like the smoke comes out, we start the chanting, it like looks scary as hell, right?
As a tiefling, do you get like a thaumaturgy effect? Like you can
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
your voice louder?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So part of me wants to do something that's like really non-effective at all just to scare them, but the other part doesn't want to get hit. So the other part of me just wants to shoot it with a bow and go forward. Damn.
Well, I mean, that's the question, right? Like, he looks at you and he's like, it's a demon. You can either be like, shut up, I'm going to kill you, like, because I'm fighting you.
Either way, I have
me,
to do
or
something,
you
but I
can
would
be
prefer
scary.
to not hurt them.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, if you wanted to, because thaumaturgy allows you to make your voice louder and seem scary. It's the Gandalf conjurer.
Yeah.
So you can do that and try to like intimidate them, right into fleeing. That's certainly a thing you can
I'm gonna
do
do that one.
right? So
yeah.
that means like, oh, you think I'm a demon, huh? Like, yeah, obviously, and like,
Yeah.
you're gonna embrace that.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
gonna embrace it also because I feel like the fact that he's turned into a bear too is playing to like we've caught them from multiple angles that they were just not
whole
they
situation's
had what they thought were dead corpses,
Yeah.
and now what they have is like a demon and a dude that turns into a bear.
This
So
old man yelling at him over there.
yeah, we're gonna go
Don't
the
underestimate the terrifying old man and the cat with the bow.
I've done enough killing the last two, so we're gonna go to the intimidation route, and at least the ones that are like in the immediate vicinity. Maybe not the one that's fighting Vomit down there, but the ones in the immediate vicinity, we're gonna try to intimidate.
Okay, let me
Going
grab
up
the Dungeon Master schedule.
DM's guide.
That's right. I want to check because I want to use there are rules for like morale and for scaring monsters. So
Intimidation and stuff.
yeah. Okay. So I mean, most of them are still alive, but if you're going to use thaumaturgy, what does it look like?
It would look similar to what it was when we were casting the shadow on the whole group, right? Where she's chanting and looks very introspective, right? Where the look of concentration on my face is evident that like I'm trying to do something. Same effect with like the smoke that's like kind of starts coming up from the ground. There's probably also some kind of spark or fire or something that looks demonic and scary intentionally, right? Very sorceress type to battle that.
Okay. Cool. So the leader of the group makes a save. Let's have you make a intimidation check, and you can do it with advantage. So roll twice. What's your bonus to intimidation?
2.
Okay, so 9.
Thank God for advantage.
Okay, so 15.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll roll a 15. Normally, because none of them have died yet, they would have advantage, but I think you have the sort of supernatural stuff that's like scary, so we'll just call it an even roll. So I'm going to make a DC 15 check. It'll be a wisdom save, and they are at +0 for that, so pretty hard roll. Roll a big guy, so I need a 15 or better. If I get a higher than 15, they're not scared, they stay and fight, and
Okay.
if I get lower, then they're intimidated and will respond accordingly.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Nice.
So I got an 8. So the dwarves are intimidated. The sudden like fire and smoke is too much, and they're gonna attempt to flee or surrender or whatever. The giant is not a part of that because he is so focused on this fight
Right.
that it's a separate thing. Okay. So Yam, I think even in your rage, you sense that they're going to surrender. What do you want to do?
If I do know they're going to surrender, then
Yeah, I mean you have the like hunter's sense that
Yeah.
they've kind of
I'm
they're not going to fight.
I'm trying to think
they're
back to like
broken.
what happened before he went into rage that he would like be able to recall easily without, being confused about it. Well, I can't get past that one that's in the way either to go to the other guy, can I?
No, yeah, they're kind of like. I mean, you can try to shove him or like push him out of the way or whatever. But for right now, yeah, the dwarves. It's in that tenuous moment where like if you attack, like they're cornered, and if you push them, they have nowhere else to go but to fight, right? So
Yeah.
there is a chance that if you're like, jump on them, they're gonna fight back, and it'll just drag it all back into the fight.
Well, I would like to try to push the one that's in the way out of the way if we need to make a grapple check or whatever, however we'd do that
Yeah.
with bear.
Yeah.
Can you just growl loudly?
It's like contested strength rolls, maybe, I guess?
Yeah, athletics rolls.
Okay, athletic.
So he's got advantage because he's all enormous. He's enlarged. And he doesn't have any. Okay, so just plus 2.
14 is the way I rolled.
Okay. I got a
Oh.
13. So yeah, you can shove him out of the way.
Yeah, push
Like
him down.
enough for you to kind of like move through.
Yeah,
Okay, so your action is like you roar up and
Yeah.
swat him away.
And then take my movement if I can, even if it does promote attacks of opportunity if they're going to take it.
No, I don't think they're gonna make attacks of opportunity because I think they're all like broken, right? So you just run over that way.
Roaring at the guy.
Okay.
Maybe he may not notice me, but I attempt to like get his attention in any way, like just blah.
So this one falls down and like cowers because he thinks you've like knocked him down so you can jump on him and like tear out his throat. But he falls down and covers his face and then you rush past him.
Right.
And the Etten, one of the heads, like one of the heads is looking at you, the other head turns and is like, "Uh-oh, bear!" and like starts to turn that way as you come at him sideways.
All right, and that'll be me.
Cool. Okay, so these guys. They're all, I guess I got to do them on my end. They all revert to natural size. And then 2 of them, the ones that still have this ability available, they disappear. Whoop. Whoop. So those 2 that were here, they vanish. They shrink down. You can see them kind of cowering, and then they disappear. They become kind of camouflaged.
Like how they're all calling out sorcery and they're just over here disappearing.
Crumbling into nothingness.
Sorcery!
This one.
It's like a fainting goat. It just goes, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, he stays, like, large size, but, like, throws aside his pick and, like, puts his hands up. And he's backed up against this crevasse, right? So he takes a step back, and we hear rocks, like, tumbling, and he kind of, like, pinwheels his arms a little bit and then stops, like, please don't push me off this cliff. And actually, I think he, like, drops to one knee and, like, puts his hands up in surrender.
Poor guy.
Every once in a while, I forget that Max is wearing that, and then it catches my eyes.
The little cute cat here.
You put your hands up, and I'm like,
Don't
God
forget.
damn it.
Never forget. Yeah.
This will go down as the sexiest role play.
I was saying in
It
the break
is.
too. This is gonna be like my superhero outfit that I just go and
totally.
fight crime with. Just like,
Well, it's your turn, crime fighter. What
do
do
it.
you want to do?
I think I'm gonna shoot at the Etten.
Yeah, so you're
Should be
gonna fire.
within range.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
the only
you-
threat that's there.
He's 75 feet away.
Should be good. Yeah.
And you're still hidden. So.
Yep. I will fire off at him.
Okay. So what do you? What's your bonus to hit? Oh, you have advantage because you're hidden.
Yep.
So.
All right. Yeah.
Hey.
It's
First
great.
one.
That's the first one on the show. Good job.
Nice.
All right,
Well,
you
you
need
had
a
one
lot
earlier.
of d6s. I mean, it's the first real one.
Sure,
Because
sure.
mine was a disadvantage. So
That's
you
right.
get. Okay. So your actual hit does how much? 1d6 plus.
1d6 was 4.
Okay. So here's 2 for the hit, and then you need another.
Oh, does he need
Let me
mine?
see. So you need 3 for stealth, and then another 3 for crit.
Jesus.
Okay,
He's good.
we're good.
What's the total? How many do you have? Like 6 and 8?
so.
Just get them all out of here.
So many d6s. Okay, 8 d6. Let's do some basic math here.
Good. All right.
Add it up out loud so we can see how slow you are.
I am slow. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, you kill the Etten.
Yeah.
How do
With these.
how do you kill it? So you like pop out of your cover and it's not looking at you, and you draw your bow and you fire. What do you do to kill it?
I think he pulls it back and then he just.
I'm
like,
not the
kinda-
Eden, don't shoot me. What are you
You're
doing?
the Etten right now. He takes it back and he kind of like smirks a little bit, and he like when he knows he's about to like just fucking he just has that feeling. He kind of does this to the arrow. He's like,
You touch the feathers at the
yeah.
end.
He like rifles it a little bit, and he's like, no. And he just shoots. Like he waits for the proper moment.
Nice.
You want to say like he feels out the air and the wind and everything.
Yeah,
Waits
yeah.
for the exact perfect moment
The
where it's
zoom
just
and that goes
gonna
around.
fly.
Is there a catchphrase too? Sexy superhero. Is there like a like
Say ow.
per? He's like per motherfucker, and then he just like shoots the arrow
I think
forward.
because he's more of a crude character in this world, like the curse, our curse equivalent would be like, take this, bitch.
So you, one of the heads turns in time to see the arrow coming, right? It hears the whistling, and it turns, the bald head turns, and it just gets the arrow in the eye, and it dies right away. And the thing kind of goes slack on one side, right? And he tumbles to one knee and, like, swerves and wobbles a little bit, falls to his hands, and the other head is still like drooling and shouting at you. And in Primordial is yelling like, "No, I'm not done yet!" And then its body shuts down, and you can see the other head just still like snapping its teeth and frothing. And the last thing to go is like that head as the rest of the body dies, and it tumbles forward into the dirt. And then past it, you see an enormous bear.
Isn't my move next? Well, I guess if we're out of combat, right?
Well,
Are we?
It would be yes. It is your turn, Vama, so
Okay, if it's my turn, then
let me mark this guy.
he just falls in.
You could just climb over him and
Well, I mean, if you'll let me, as a non-action, just kind of like heave into it, just you got to double tap anything.
You got to
That's what you learn as clan hunters. You got to double tap anything. So I just kind of heave into it with my axe.
Yeah.
And like drag it out, maybe much worse and less finesse cut than what was just the killing blow.
Hey, especially with something with two heads, you got to make sure.
Yeah. And then I guess in front of me I see
Yeah.
this thing.
I want to see you like drag him out of bear form because like
We're just both looking at each other.
Well, I don't,
Grabs
I
him
don't
by
know
the
what I'm
bear
looking
ear.
at.
yeah.
Is there any semblance of like Yom in the bear that I can see?
It's just a bear. No, maybe maybe his eyes are still like a non-animalistic color or something, but other than that, no, just full-on brown bear man.
Okay. Does this still look like a threat? Do I have any idea?
No, he's got his hands up and he's
okay.
afraid.
And I saw him change into it, so I know that's him.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just staring at you, and I'm still like in battle stance, and I'm staring. Yum. I kind of like I go up and maybe like put my hand out to see how you react because you look like a feral creature to me.
Are we still like
Make an animal handling check.
Yeah, you gonna handle me?
Yeah.
I just okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so you're
Jab
like
your finger
approaching
to my
like,
eye.
and I mean you can decide how you respond because obviously you're playing your own character, but this is how well he approaches you, like one would a bear. Right?
This is a flat D20 for me.
Okay.
14.
Yeah, not bad. Okay, so you see this old dwarf. Now, is there anything about you that would indicate like who you are? Are you wearing like clan like sigils? Do you have any like
No,
jewelry
because
or-
this is not
secret
supposed to be
mission?
a public thing.
Right.
People, if I run into other dwarves, they're not supposed to know where I'm at or where I'm coming from.
Okay.
So the only thing you would probably recognize is just that I look grizzled. I've got many scars
Grizzly?
on my
Grizzled.
head.
Grizzly,
Yeah,
grizzled, yeah.
got many scars on my head. I've probably got blood all over me from the Eden. Maybe a couple of like open wounds from where I got hit.
Yeah.
And I'm just staring right at you, like I don't even notice this stuff.
Yeah, so you don't.
And my hand's out, kind of like saying,
and you rolled well, so you don't like jab me in the eyes. You're
right, right.
So yeah, he just walks over and just gives you one of these. Yeah,
Yeah.
dumb bear. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm just like, Yum.
All right, if my turn, I'll just sit back on my bear butt and revert back to Yum and just be sitting on the ground. Oi, Grandpa!
Oh, okay. So you're just kind of sitting there. What?
Just go back.
Where did you learn to do that?
What?
What do you mean with the bear thing?
What do you mean the bear? Can't you do that? Of course you can, old man.
I'm super hesitant. I kind of like.
I get up and I'll approach you and like extend a hand in greeting.
I look at it. I don't shake it. You think I'm going to, but I'm going towards the ground. I pick up a bunch of dirt and like rock and put it on my wounds and kind of just press it in because that's what you do as a mountain dwarf.
Like stand there.
Are these your friends?
Yeah, so when you said that, we cut over to the prisoner who's like he's reverted to normal size now because it only lasts a minute. So now he's alone and he can't go invisible. So he's just like backed up against the cliffside and like he's terrified of you. Like there's a fairly even chance that he'll just fall into this crevasse and die because he's so scared of you. But you see this happening too, and you're fairly close by.
I think Thorn is there speaking pretty loud, which I'm sure they were. Like hearing this echo is like, not to break up the reunion or anything, but two of them disappeared. We forgetting this? And he's like looking around with like with the arrow.
Do you want to try to see if you can see any sign of them?
Yeah. He's just
Okay. All right. Make a perception check at disadvantage.
okay.
What's your perception bonus?
My perception is 2 + 2.
Okay. All right.
I don't.
Is that cocked? What do you want?
I think that's fine.
Yeah, it was
It's
like
fine.
Another 20. Okay.
Good work. Okay.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Bees.
So you can see, you don't see them specifically because they've fled, but you
Right.
can see their like sandaled footprints leading away from the scene.
You did say disadvantaged.
That's right. I have disadvantage. So roll again.
I'm
That's
looking
good.
out
Thank
for you,
you.
chat. I
Watch
got
Because
you.
he's blind. Yeah.
Watch
That's-
this.
I like that. You don't even need to look at Chad to know
he just-
they're all over
When
that
you do it
shit.
as long as he has, you just feel it.
You
Yeah.
can feel
Yeah.
it. You feel that salt.
Okay, I'm
All
sorry.
right.
All right.
I'm
so
sorry.
yeah, I mean,
Don't see
you can still see that there are signs. You don't know where they are. I was going to tell you that before, but there are signs that they have like moved away. You can see scrapes in the dirt, and yeah. So they don't look like they're still around. You don't know that if they're here. But yeah, they I mean, just you saw them. They're terrified of her. They fled.
All right, well, that's what Thorn says, and he's just kind of looking because he doesn't want to get, he's not trying to get ambushed by some.
Yeah, I mean the dwarf, the creature that's here is like muttering to her. He's not looking at her, like he's got his head down and his hands up, and he's muttering in primordial. You can't hear him because you're far away, but he's
right.
trying to talk to her.
I'll start moving. Thorn starts creeping up forward.
Yeah, you say that I probably
Try to
don't
get into
even-
earshot and hear what he's saying.
In my mind, I don't know what you are. I've probably never seen a tabaxi, so I'm just thinking like
Most people have not seen it.
I'm just ignoring you and focused on him.
And I'm ignoring you.
I'm focused on Private Ryan here.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
no,
So
Thorn-
you walk over.
Thorn comes over and just listens, like, to hear what he's
Okay.
like. Maybe like after establishing that there's no, like, his buddies aren't around, he like kind of puts down the bow and like saunters up and like listens to him just to hear him.
So he sounds like he's like praying, but to her for mercy, right? It's like, mistress of fire and shadow, like spare me, please. Parwat is a mighty god and will reward you if you spare my life. And he's like still like kind of like taking steps back because he's trying to get away and he's looking around. He's like fully in flight mode, but there's nowhere to go.
Okay, Thorn says to Salix and comments like, "Hey, why don't you back up a little bit?"
And so would I at that point have recognized that he now understands what that guy's saying? Like, has he outed himself basically as like
I think
understanding?
it's not.
I haven't said
It's not
anything
your
yet, no.
intent. He's just suggesting you take a step back.
So I'm without breaking like this look of concentration and still smoke, fire, like the whole thing. I'm just gonna like kind of turn my head towards you and be like, not until they're all gone.
They're gone. Trust me.
There's still one here. And he
You're the
can go
one that
big
wanted
and
to
he
talk
can
him
go.
down. What do you want to push him off the cliff now?
No,
Go ahead,
I just
do it.
I just want him to run. If you can make him run, then I'll stop. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want to know that they're all gone.
God damn it. Because he was trying to avoid speaking primordial because he
Yeah.
likes having his little bags of tricks. And he just looks at the guy and is like, "Hey, come on. Calm down. Get away from the ledge. She's freaky. I get it. But you don't want to die. I don't want to see you die. Come on."
So primordial is a simple and like mostly like symbolic language.
Okay.
It's hard to have a conversation in it, but
Right.
you can impart like meanings, right?
So,
you can,
right, it would be
you can
like-
impart to him that
It would translate it then. It would just be like, "Calm down. Make yourself calm.
yeah, be calm.
Be calm. Stay alive." Like that kind of stuff. Like very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever sort of
Okay. So first, take your inspiration for the whole like keeping your secrets thing. That was good. I like
Yeah.
that. And he turns to you suddenly, like his effect changes. And you notice this now that Thorn is speaking to the creature. His effect changes. He's still terrified of her, but like now you can help him, right? And he says to you, he's like, Lord of the Plains. To the great demon of fire, please impart my apologies. My friends and I thought that you were dead. We mean no disrespect, no harm. We simply wanted to bring you up from the sacred caves.
God damn it. And he says to her, like, "So, yeah, they were just trying to help. They thought we were dead. At least that's what he's saying. I don't know if you believe him, but it's kind of fucked up. We just killed them all, or at least the one guy. What do you want to do now? Maybe calm him down with all the demony things.
So
He's real scared."
as soon as I hear that they were trying to help us, I like immediately drop. Like it's instantaneous,
Yeah.
right? Like the whole thing, the veil falls, like everything's that. Immediate attention turns away from him and turns to him and it was like, "You understood them this whole time?" and you weren't going to tell us that you knew? We could have avoided this whole thing if you would just talk to them about it.
I mean, I wasn't the one. Who the fuck is that guy, anyways?
Who is that guy? And then we both just like turned and we're like, wait a second, who the fuck is that
Did you
guy?
start this fight? I didn't start this fight.
Yeah, this isn't my
Who's
fight.
this guy? So we cut back.
Probably
Yeah.
like 5 or 10 seconds before you guys say like, who's
Yeah.
that guy? I'm like, come on, while they're busy, and I just like grab your arm and
The
just
arm
start
that I have
dragging you.
extended?
Yeah, I just grab your arm and start dragging you up this
Right,
cliff.
so the two of you see, Yam and this old man kind of like tussling a little bit, and it looks like he's trying to like drag Yam up away into the mountains.
So
I think literally Thorn's is like, Yam, what the fuck?
so then I just, we have our pile of like shit, right? Like I have my bow, whatever. So I'm immediately just gonna run by the thing, grab like our backpacks and our stuff, and just start running after him and be like, what the like, wait, you can't run that way.
I think Thorn's sticking by the guy. He's like, you all right?
You say that to him?
Yeah, to him.
Make a persuade check.
Okay.
I'm
Persuasion's 3.
curious about his attitudes towards you. Oh yeah.
18 plus
all right.
3, yeah.
So he when she turns around and turns her attention away from him and turns off all the like scary fireworks and stuff, he throws himself at your feet. And is just like, bless you, Lord of Plains, mighty cat lord, and is just like bowing and like has his head on the ground.
Thorn's just
and
like,
he's like,
what are you doing? Get up, get
this
up.
one owes you his life. And it's like 1,000 blessings of the great mountain upon you, and he's just like sobbing into the dirt.
Thorn's just like, come
basically.
on, get up. What are you doing? Like, do you have any arrows? I'll take arrows.
Yeah, so he's discarded his shield and his pick. There's a javelin case on his back, but in the fracas he's dropped them, so there's like his javelins lying nearby. He's wearing like a iron ring mail. That seems to be of fine craftsmanship, and then otherwise, like you can't tell his age because they all look kind of like wizened old like rock men. He has a long white beard, and then long white hair that at one point was up in this kind of complex like bun thing with little like onyx pins in it, but it's come unpinned and is like kind of like hanging down in a long like
Yeah.
tousle next to him, and he's crying these like tears, but it's not like water. His eyes are like shedding little bits of glass into the ground, and they're white, and you can tell that he's like squinting. He's uncomfortable. The sun is making him like.
Yeah.
But so he looks up at you, these little flakes of glass like falling off of his eyes, and like clasps your robe or whatever, clasps at your clothes.
Yeah, Thorn's just like, come on, you calm down. Like, kind of uncomfortably, just goes like, there.
Yeah, and he says, had we known that you and the others were still alive, we would have woken you, but you were in the sacred sanctum, and we could not allow it. We thought that you had brought those fungus creatures, and we did not know.
No, that wasn't us. We were trying to figure out the whole water situation and all that.
And he nods and he says, this place is forbidden to your kind. You should not be here. And he looks nervously like up at the mountain, which like looms in the distance, and he says, there may yet be time for you to flee or to throw yourself at the mountain's mercy, so you are not punished by his wrath. Parwat is a merciful, though vengeful God. Merciful, sometimes vengeful, other times, both in equal measure. Mighty is Parwat, and he like turns, but not as mighty as you, my lord.
And then Thorn just starts to walk away.
And he gets up and scrambles after you, like, wait, where are you going?
I'm trying to see what they're doing.
Yeah, and so we cut back to the situation. So what are you doing while he's interfacing with his?
So I'm
close
trying
to us
to
now.
like run towards them and like keep an eye on them and turning back and caught between these two things. So as I'm noticing that he's walking away, but this thing is still after him, I'm gonna turn to Thorn and be like, "Can you ask him about where we are or what we're supposed to be doing or get anything?" Like get something out of him. Is he with us? Is he joining us?
Yeah, so then Thorn's just like, all right. Turns to him like, how did you guys find us? What are you doing here? Like, what's all this about? You said we're not supposed to be here.
He says that all that happens within Parwat's mighty domain, and he gestures, meaning like all the mountains, is known to us. We are his children, my brothers and I.
I cut
We
him off.
heard-
I'm like, do you speak common?
And he shakes his
All right,
head.
go ahead.
And yeah, so he sounds like a rock tumbler when he speaks. Like he's
Right.
making these guttural kind of belching, rumbling sounds that maybe are a language. Maybe he's just making noise. But it seems like they understand each other.
So then I'm gonna turn to him, or like still facing towards him, and say, "Can you tell him to let everybody else know that we mean them no harm, so that this doesn't happen again?"
It's a little hard to convince somebody of that when you're all demony and killing them. But yeah, I'll try.
I'll hug him if that makes him feel better.
I don't think you'd want it. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, I mean, tell him I'm not as. I only look scary.
yeah,
I'm not
Thorn
really
just
scary.
needs to, tell him like, we're here. We're not. We didn't want to fight you. We don't know who this guy is. Like,
He looks like sadly and pointedly at the dead Etten.
yeah. As he does that, he's like, sorry about that guy.
And he shakes his head and he says, "The earth will mourn Erdwin's passing for 1,000 generations."
He didn't seem like he was gonna stop, and I did what I had to do. Not proud of it.
And and he just like is looking at Erdwin, the Etten, like he's got kind of the effect of the like Rancor Keeper in
Yeah.
Jedi, where he's just like, oh, big guy.
I think in the silence, Thorn's like, you want to say a few words? Or?
He shakes his head. He says, "In time, Erdwin will return to the mountain. The wolves and ravens will come and take apart his body. His spirit is with Parvat now." And again, he like looks up at the mountain, like.
I think Thorn does like a little Parvat.
He just gives him like
yeah.
one of these.
Big P.
With his paws.
And he says to you in primordial, like kind of conspiratorially, he says, and he's talking about these two who are kind of still squabbling. He says, these two lesser children of the earth are your companions as well.
Companions. I'm just with them right now. So.
And he says, you and the Lady of Flame are clearly gods, mighty powers, but those two are mere dwarves, long out of the shadow of Parvat. Why do you travel with them, mighty one?
I kind of travel with anybody that's entertaining enough, really, if I'm honest.
And
he's like being super honest
Yeah.
because he knows they can't
Yeah,
hear
and
anything.
he nods and he says, "Our people too have tellers of tales." And he says, he like grabs your hand and he's like, "I would take you to meet with Parvat. Come," and like starts to like kind of pull you. So now like you're pulling him one way, and the dwarf guy is like pulling you another way, and you're kind of caught in the middle. Like, what are you gonna do?
I see that he's grabbing his. I have no idea what's going on, right? I don't know if he's trying to hurt him. I don't know.
I mean, his body language is incredibly obsequious, right? Like he doesn't look him in the eye. He like is looking down mostly. There's a lot of bowing.
I'm thinking
and,
like house elf, kind of like come this way, right? Like
Come.
Yeah, Mr. Potter. Yeah. So at that point, I'm like stuck literally between a rock person and a hard place, and I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume that he's okay, right? Because this is like a little rock person, and he's a big tabaxi. Like he's not gonna drag him off without him being able to fend for himself, right?
Yeah, he's just tugging at me. Like I'm not actually letting.
Yeah. So knowing that he's not really in any harm, I'm gonna just kind of wave that off and be like, he'll deal with that. And rock person, and I'm gonna move to the hard place, which is those two over there,
Sure.
and walk up to Yam and I guess try to introduce myself.
Okay.
A lot has happened.
Yeah,
We're pretty
you
far
guys
up
had a
this
long
path.
scene, and I'm sure we've had a lot to
So
talk
yeah,
about.
let's talk about what happened there. So did you when he started pulling you and was like, come on, we got to get out of here.
It would have if
Well-
I was extending my hand in like handshake or
Yeah, I
grasp, you
grabbed
grab
her
my-
hand, clasped it, and just started
start
pulling
me,
you.
and I guess as I'm trying to practice my patience and non-rage, because this would be quite offensive to me, and like kind of like shake my hand upside down as you're pulling me, like, nice to meet you too, brother. Yam Mokinto, who might have the pleasure of my savior, who seems to be taking me off to as your prize, and wink at you.
Angrily and very guttural, "Quit the shit, Yum!" And I just like pull you to me, and if you don't come, I'm gonna like punch you in the stomach and try to knock the wind out of you.
All right, well, make it to hit.
Well, let's have you make an opposed athletics check, right? Because
Okay.
punching, gentle punching, can be an athletics thing. So what's your bonus for athletics?
+7.
That one.
We're about to deal with this with how
What's
dwarves deal
yours?
with this.
Do you have +7?
My athletics?
Yeah.
Mine's 6.
Okay.
It's pretty evenly matched.
Who
All
you
right.
want to roll first?
Dwarven wrestling.
Yeah.
Didn't we already do this RPG?
Maybe.
One night only. Parwat's Arena. All right.
Go first.
So here, the conditions of this is if you basically this is a submission thing. Like if you win, you get him like pinned or in a hold, and you're like, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't ever break out, but basically he's shown you like I'm tougher and stronger.
Oh,
than you.
yeah.
And if you win, do you want to like get him in a hold, or do you want to like push him away and in the process show him like I can fight? Like,
Well, if he's trying to you're going to make the first move, like trying to pull me in. If you're trying to grab me.
I'm going to like punch you in the stomach, knock the wind out of you.
Okay.
Like, because if I've got your hands clasped like this,
I feel like freaking David Attenborough. And here we see two
Yeah.
dwarven males
you-
clashing in the mountains.
I will more than likely mirror what you do. Like, well, fuck you. And
The
swing
ancient
back.
dwarven mating behaviors. are
Especially
strange.
feisty after both rages.
I guess since I made the first punch, I'll roll
You can
first.
still
Okay,
smell
yeah.
the rage in the air.
All right.
Well, I mean, it's
Fighting
up to
for
Adam, excuse me.
dominance.
Yeah, exactly. There's like goats bashing
17.
heads.
You beat me.
Ooh, all right, old man. Mama. So you were saying that this is like you pull him in and just like bam, like knock the wind out of him.
I'm like the equivalent of throwing you over my shoulder and getting you the fuck out of here.
Right, like you would with a child who's
You're a child to
misbehaving.
me, yeah.
Okay.
And maybe I'm just like, you're stronger than your brother, lad Dawn. Just throw you over my shoulder if I can and start walking.
Go over his shoulder. And I guess you turn away, and I'll be like, look up and be like,
Yeah, and I think that's when
yeah,
you
so
walk over.
I'm like
Yeah.
running. I'm running over to them, going like, Mother Earth, like what the? So I'm just running after the two of like he's got him over his shoulder, and I'm just yelling after him like, stop. Do you even pay attention? Do you give a shit about
My
me?
back's to you. He's hanging off my
what are
back
you
and
wearing?
staring
What
at
is
you.
your character?
What am I wearing?
Yeah, what are you?
I am completely. I'm no shirt. I have a bald head, like I said, very long beard, many braids, and then just like put together shorts. Not really necessarily finely made or anything, but yeah, shorts. Yeah,
You got jorts on?
yeah, sure. It's some sort of.
We don't have denim in this world, but they're like
some-
linen jorts.
Yeah.
Some rompers.
They're blue-dyed linen jorts.
I'm trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. Like,
I mean, I guess since you've grabbed me and I'm over your shoulder and I can't do much, I don't want to go with you, but I'm going to start reaching at the back of your pants and grabbing your ass cheeks like, no!
Get yourself free.
it's as
make
a
it
child
very
would do.
uncomfortable
Yeah,
for you.
exactly. You're having a little temper tantrum.
Do you say? What do you say as I'm walking away?
I'm just yelling at you like, stop! Like, you can't take him with you.
Okay.
I feel these muscly glutes. I'm like, ooh.
Oh. Rocks. Speaking of rocks.
Without turning around, just kind of like throw my voice as much as possible. I'm, quiet, witch. This doesn't concern you. It's dwarven business.
So then
Thorin's
this is
coming
just
over to
now-
it this time.
this is just now pissing me off because I just went through all that, de-escalating that whole situation so that our friends could be okay. And here comes this other freaking dwarf taking my dwarf. So I'm going to like pull up the thaumaturgy again and just like with a booming, like echoing in between these mountains, like probably enough to start making things rumble. I'm just going to like yell at him really loud and be like, I said stop. And it's like, I mean, it's loud and
Dwarves fear the shit out of magic, so I stop.
We get the obligatory shot of like a tree and the birds all.
Yeah.
And it's dead silent. My eyes are wide. And he's probably thrown. I stop. I don't move.
Still like,
Yeah, he's probably clawing and stuff.
So, like, since you're stopped, I'm going to calmly, like, walk up and walk in, because I'm taller than you, right? So I'm going to
Yeah.
walk in front of
Big
you and I'm
dwarf,
going to say,
so-
put him down.
I stopped. I'm not putting him down.
Put him down.
Without regard, or with no regard for your person, I
Yeah.
just, like, lug you over on the ground.
Toss you
lay
on
on
the
the
ground.
ground. Fucking asshole.
And
What business do you have with him?
What business do you have with me?
yeah, he's with us. Who are you?
You see, like, my demeanor shift from one that commanded, like a commanding presence, to one of, like, sorrow and regret. And I kind of just focus it on you and say, your brother sent me. He's not well.
To bring me back? Is he sick?
It's been many weeks. I haven't seen him. But
Let's sit up. Well, I hope
he
it's
was growing
something.
sick.
I hope it's something serious. This is quite offensive. I don't appreciate it. I left on my own. I hope you're not lying to me.
Wouldn't lie. You need to go back.
So then I'm going to turn to you like and interrupt the conversation and say like, we're trying to figure out what happened here. He can't just leave. We're trying to figure out why the water gods are gone and why everything is messed up. People are going to die if we
Doesn't
don't.
concern the dwarven kind.
It concerns him.
So
Stand
while
up.
the three of you are talking, the dwarf turns to you and he says, "The mistress of flame and shadow commands their attention masterfully. Are these two her slaves?"
Yeah, they're her slaves.
He nods like, "Yes, it is as I thought."
Yeah, so I'm just like, doesn't concern you or doesn't concern us.
And so then I look at you.
I don't even know what you are.
Like, stand up and brushing myself off.
So you know from Ikishinagal's teachings and from living in this area for so long that dwarves, I mean, they as a culture, you have this solipsism problem where that's a very classical dwarven response, like not our problem.
Yeah.
But if there's an ecosystem. Now maybe you wouldn't have learned about this as a dwarf, but as a druid, you know that the animals of the land are reliant on the water, and the water feeds the grass, and like. If Nadi is not returned, the land will die, and eventually so too will the dwarves. It'll just take a while.
Yeah, and well, that's what I was going to relay to you, that we were, the river's dry, and we were going to try to restore it, and none of us can survive without that.
How about this? We will, on our way back, continue the search for Nadi, and you can just join us, and then you don't have to drag him off, and then we can still kind of do what we need to do. You don't even have, he'll walk on his own. You don't even have to carry him. And you can just come with us, and we'll do this all probably about 10 more times, and then we'll get him home. We'll even help you.
I don't even know if I want to go. I mean, my brother's an asshole, all right?
Okay, but he's clearly not gonna give up. And I don't really feel like fighting people again.
And I'll motion back. So and I'll look at him. Do I recognize that he's not Hill Dwarf?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are differences that are subtle enough that maybe these two wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But you and your primordial cousin, it's easy to tell.
Yeah.
So like what
my beard's a
clan
little
you
bit
belong to.
redder.
Like,
And
you're not of our tribe. What business is yours of our family anyway?
I look at you. Not in front of her. It's dwarven business.
He's a stubborn asshole. But he fights well, and like slap you on the shoulder as hard as I can, and kind of angrily on your bare skin.
Kind of just like,
Like punch him in a place where he's already wounded, like he's a tough old man. Bonk.
I look at your hand. I don't shout back, but you see like a small grin on the side of my face.
Yeah, it's like,
I think, as you said, he fights well. Like Thorn kind of is like coming. He's like, this is where he's like right next to you guys. And I was like, yeah, he fights well. Didn't need any help.
Always,
well, he
always,
kept him busy for you.
always the underappreciated.
He's just
character.
muttering it like, yeah.
He's very, very good as a punching bag.
Is the rock guy still following him? The
Yes,
little rock.
yeah, he's basically just standing next to him, looking at you in awe.
And, yeah, he
then,
comes-
like, occasionally.
Thorn's just like, he thinks these are your slaves and that you're all powerful.
In Primordial, I speak straight to the dwarf. Get away from us, Dark One.
And he looks surprised, and then he smiles, and he says, "We had been taught that your kind had forgotten the Elder Tongue. Good to see you're not so far from the mountain after all."
I said, get away. And I kind of like start to reach for my axe.
No. And so this isn't gonna happen because I like he's cute. So as like this happens, I'm gonna like walk over to the little rock guy and I'm gonna be like, oh, I think he's cute, and kind of like rustle up his like in a very like playful. It's gonna catch him off guard. He's not gonna like it, but
you
like
walk
kind of
towards
like
him and he like, ugh, like
yeah. And then I just kind of like tousle his hair.
He's
and
probably
I'm
all
like,
like,
"Aw."
geez, the powerful one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like tousle his hair and be like, great, glad we're all in agreement. Let's go.
You keep the company of children.
It's my company. It's no business of yours. Do we need to go have some dwarven business outside? And like
And I like turn around.
smack
He
my
said,
fist into my hands.
he says, you keep the company of children. I like turn around. I'm like, stopped you, didn't I? And then like I just keep like walking back down the hill as like we're all leaving. Like let's go.
I think Thorn's just kind of bored right now, and he's just kind of like doing this with his claws. He's like,
Yeah, I like hitch my axe back to my back. I look towards you. What are you supposed to be?
you never seen a cat before?
Not of that size.
I'll
We've
drink it
hunted
in.
them.
Drink it in. Try to hunt me. See how it goes. He's
All
like
right.
kneading.
So let's take a break there on that, like the resolution of kind of the immediate tension, and we can figure out when we come back where to go next, because you have a few options. So I want to give you guys a chance to sort of talk that out. So yeah, let's take a short break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with more Roleplay Live Court of Swords.